most recently, for instance, one of the gaming projects we supported was called Cross the Ages.
Yes.
Right? And I think we're both investors in Cross the Ages.
Yeah, we've had Sami Chalagu, their CEO, on the show twice. We invested 4 years ago, back in 21. Huge fans of Sami, the vision, the project.
The project works really well.
Yeah.
The game, he's had a great track record as a game developer that's made profitable games, lots of users, right?
Yeah, great community.
Great community. But the token's absolutely been crushed, right? And so you have a few opportunities. You go, well, do you look at a new gaming project? Or do you look at a gaming project that's undervalued? Which is, by the way, what people do in the stock market all the time.
Yeah.
They look at what are the opportunities out there. And they were a portfolio. We spoke to them. They spoke to us. We're like, you know what? I think there's something there, right? They were at under $10 million market cap. I mean, for a company like that, which is a bargain even in Web 2 sort of classical terms. So I said, you know what? That's totally sort of oversold. So we decided basically to support the project. We sort of, obviously didn't just back them, but we also bought tokens in the market. Most recently we announced it.
Yeah.
As of the start of the year, the token is up 400%, right? So Cross the Ages as a token has outperformed Bitcoin. Now, of course, you can't make the same parallel example. They're not the same assets whatsoever, right? That's kind of saying I outperform gold. That's not the point here. But the point is that as a portfolio, I think it makes sense for you to look at different hedges. Right? So you look at things that you have conviction on, right? I mean, people who invested in AI companies before, right? Or companies who've invested in biotech companies before, right? These are all companies, regardless of whether they're a token or not, that can outperform the market if you have conviction and belief in them when you see that, right? And so I think a lot more of that will happen. And so I think as a result, altcoins are going to be, distinguished between those that have institutional backing, like from the likes of us or other ones. Because the one thing that we haven't fully accounted for yet is that right now, the BlackRocks of the world, they are buying Bitcoin. What are they buying next? They're going to start buying things next, right? You already see all of the ETFs coming out for different tokens, right? Van Eck is pushing all sorts of interesting ETFs. Eventually, you get more and more of them. So you've got the next tier, which are the ones that the institutions can back, right? The ones that we could back, for instance, right? And then you have everything else, right? And to me, that's no different than, you've got your S&P 500, right? And then you've got essentially sort of, basically, sort of a lower tier. And then you've got everything else, right? I think we're going to see the same thing with tokens as well. But right now they're all in one bucket, partially because it's not sophisticated, which to me represents an opportunity.
One thing that I think frustrates.
How do you get out of a rat race? How do you create wealth not only for yourself, but also for the generations to come after?
I am absolutely amazed with the quality of companies that we're getting exposure to.
We go on to Zoom calls with the innovators and the folks who are building new applications in metaverse, blockchain, artificial intelligence, decentralized finance.
What's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me.
We are focusing on early stage investment.
And the quality of people that we're getting exposure to, whether it be Dan Tapiero with 1RT, Jason Ma from Open, Yat Siu from Animoca.
It's been a phenomenal experience thus far. It has far exceeded my expectations.
We are focusing on cutting edge technologies.
I view it now as the best investment I've ever made. The upside I view is unlimited.
And as a retail investor, I would never get this exposure anywhere else outside of Investment Club.
See you in the Investment Club.
The altcoin market, and again, we'll have to redefine that for sure, is that we see when Bitcoin rallies, yes, it pulls up, but then when Bitcoin sells off, it continues to sell off more. And if you get enough of those cycles, somebody on crypto Twitter just recently recognized that the altcoins are as low as they were when Bitcoin was at 75K, even though Bitcoin's at 100K now, because through those cycles, they had sold off even more. And so I think most people agree in crypto that actually new highs in Bitcoin is always good for every crypto.
But I disagree with that.
Is that? Are we looking at the wrong coins?
I think, so first of all, if you look at the coins from before, then yes. But what you've discounted is that the altcoin market cap has actually increased because there's more tokens in the market.
Okay. But does that matter when some random, meme coin is out there? I don't care. It's still, the coins that I think matter are still lower.
All right. So to sort of put into account a little bit the sort of what tokens do, tokens are essentially a form of pricing information, just like commodities. Just they do this from a network effect, network attention, community attention perspective as well, right?
Yeah.
So if a token doesn't do as well as it should, in your mindset, it actually should also be indicative of maybe there's something wrong with it. So I think Ethereum is a good example.
Okay.
Ethereum is a token that has a little bit of a conflict. It wants to be a sort of store value, but it also wants to have mass utility. Bitcoin doesn't have that problem. As much as Bitcoiners would love you to spend your Bitcoin, it's simply a store value. It's HODL all the way. And things like, Bitcoin Pizza Day is probably the perfect reason why people never want to sell their Bitcoin, right? And so the whole thing about Bitcoin is store value. And so it's not confusing at all. But for Ethereum, that kind of sort of, if I want to have more utility, then actually fees have to go lower, right? As in for instance, right? So that is in direct conflict with necessarily being that incredible store value. So why and when did Ethereum really rise in value? It's kind of similar to how Solana is able to maintain its value, which is opportunity. What opportunity was in Ethereum? It was NFTs, right? When I want to buy an NFT and have the opportunity to quickly react to it, I needed to have enough Ethereum on standby so I can make the trade, right? Yeah. I didn't do it because I gained like 2 or 3% staking rewards. Nobody gave a crap around that.
Right.
It was much more important that I had an opportunity to buy something that essentially gave me an opportunity in there. And so culture as an asset was really the key selling point. And when all these L2s came about, really building utility on Ethereum as a foundation because of its huge security layer and all the TVL that they had, the problem was that the tax became sort of extractive on the L2 side. What the L2s haven't done is essentially keep their Ethereum. So it's not helpful if, Base or Optimism or Arbitrum make a lot of money and then they all start selling their Ethereum.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.